Hey guys, I'm going to go over the changes for the course with you very briefly. I'm going to cover the specific assignment changes, any deadline changes, and how we will be conducting class meetings and office hours for the rest of the semester. So changes for the class. Class will be asynchronous, meaning that we do not have to log in all at once. We will have options to do that, but it will not be required. Mostly asynchronous just means that you're going to be working at your own pace with your own materials, with me as a coach that you can kind of tag in and out as needed. So for now, don't worry about class time as you have to log in on these days. We're going to get to that in a second. It's going to be asynchronous. Two, all journals and blogs past blog 10 are being removed and canceled. I think we've got plenty to worry about. That does not include random blogs. I would say roughly half of you, maybe a little over half, have been keeping up with your blogs up until this point. I'm going to give you guys an opportunity to go back and complete ones that you've missed, but you'll need to do anything that is pre-blog 10. I'm going to delete everything after that. The essay draft itself is also canceled. I think at one point you were supposed to bring a draft to class for us to look over, and instead of doing that, I want you to just focus on working on the essay to the best of your ability leading up until when you submit it. All assignments, including those missing ones, are now due on April 22nd by 11:59 in the appropriate assignment folders. So make sure that you are saving these things correctly and making sure that they're in the right place, because otherwise I may not be able to access them. And we have to use CourseSend to make sure that we are maintaining the integrity of the course for SACS, for SAC, the accreditation committee, basically, of the USG. So anything that's submitted to me as a final to be graded assignment must be on CourseSend. Let's talk about class time and virtual hours. I plan on setting up a recurring Google Meets during your class time. And this is a recommended session where you can chat with me, but you certainly are not required. You can pop in and out. You can leave early if you need to. But essentially, it's like a little meeting room that you can join either with your audio or video or both, and you can talk with me and your classmates during that time. It may just be a good way to connect with people if you are kind of isolated at this point. So for every class period that you would have had, if the world were normal, you will have a Google Meet session open and available to you and to your specific section. All of you are welcome to set up individual appointments with me outside of these times, and I'm happy to work with whatever format works best for you, whether that's email or Hangouts or a video Skype-like chat. I'm fine with that. As for your attendance, because there is an attendance requirement for this course, I would like to see or hear from you at least once, just to chat with you and to check in. Even if it's not about the course, I would like proof of life basically at this point, and to make sure that you have all of the resources that you may need to complete this assignment. Make sure we know how to use the library off of campus. How do we continue being motivated, I think, is a big one that you guys responded to in that survey, was how do we stay motivated, and meeting with me or meeting in a virtual setting may be the best way to do that at this time. So we're going to use Google Meets, and I'm going to include a link to just kind of an overview of what it is. I'm really not that worried about you guys getting it. It's very straightforward, and your generation is a little bit more savvy than mine is. It's very easy. You will not have to set one up yourself. I will send one to you, an invitation, and then you will join in as necessary. Again, I'm going to set up a recurring meeting during your class times, and I'm also going to have a chat open at any time during office hours. And when that will work, you will email me to let me know that you want to come in and talk to me during office hours, and then I will add you to that chat via email right then. I'll have it up live during my established hours, except for my Writing Center hours, which have had to change because the Writing Center is going online. And so I have to reserve those hours for Writing Center work. But any other time, and really any time that's not listed, I'll be available for you guys to meet. I'm happy to schedule a specific time with you to do that. Before we do that, I want you guys to think about a couple of things, specifically virtual meetings, and what you should do and what you maybe shouldn't do. So having done several of these at this point, I can tell you that there's always one, there's always somebody that is not as self-aware as they should be, and it becomes really distracting. So things that just kind of helpful tips, use headphones if possible. We're all going to look funny, but we're all going to look funny together. And that's good because the headphones will help focus the audio, and they'll help lessen the amount of background noise that we encounter, specifically if you're typing or anything like that. Make sure that you're muting the mic unless you are the one speaking, especially if you are in an environment, maybe your kid sister, kid brothers come home and they're loud and all over the place, right? We want to make sure that things in the background are being muted unless you're ready to speak. I can also help moderate that using the chat function that's in Google Meets, where you can say, I have a question, and then I can unmute you and let you come in when it's your turn to talk. Speaking of the chat function, please be aware that it is visible to everyone. So anything that you put in there, everybody can read and see. So just keep that in mind. Make sure that you're courteous like you always are and have things that you may need in front of you. The don'ts. Just don't do anything you wouldn't do in a face-to-face class. So be dressed. Make sure that you don't have anything offensive in the background. Don't talk over people. And most importantly, don't forget that if you are using video, and that is an if, it's not a requirement, if you are using video, we can see you and we can see everything behind you. And if you choose to share your screen, which is an option, we can see everything on that screen, including the tabs that you have in your browser. So just make sure that you are setting yourself up for the meeting before the meeting starts. Okay, and that's really it. Everything else, we're just going to adjust as we go. I think that you guys are really in a good position to do this online, but I'm here to motivate you, and I can only do it from a video screen, but I'll bring my cats and you can look at them, and they're very big motivators too. So I'm looking forward to seeing all of you, and look for those Google invites sometime this weekend. So you should have access to it Monday before class. Okay.